been thinking about how scary friendship can be sometimes. Not in the it's scary, I don't want friends kind of way, or it's scary to talk to people, which it is kind of way, but in the way that it's structured and in the way that it's usually intended sometimes, that makes it more destabilizing for me in a way. Because like usually with like romantic relationships or like sexual relationships, or even like people you flirt with, people you meet on dating apps, at speed dating events. Speed dating, that's a thing. um, at like bars or parties, um, and then you flirt with them, and you know there is usually intention, explicit intention, and there is like a social structure, sort of, um, to allow for intimacy and vulnerability. But the thing that trips me up with friendship is that it's just much more vague, because like in society we treat romantic and or like friends with benefits, or sexual relationships, usually like romantic and sexual goes the same, which is alright, I suppose. um, but we do see them as something like very intense, very like all or nothing kind of thing. Like you should love them with all your heart. You're open and vulnerable to them, and there's a structure to do that. Like there's negotiation, there are labels, um, they are talking, they are beginning and ends. Whereas friendship, it's much more vague, it's less structured. Um, you don't really know when a friendship begins or ends. Yeah, it depends, of course, and that's sort of the problem, because it it's just this vast sea of the vaguest of friendship. Like you talk a few times and you're friendly, you go out sometimes, to like the deepest of friendship. It's it's not that it's any less intimate or vulnerable than romantic relationships, which is in society we like to make it to be. And there's you some people, they have friends that they talk about more intimate and vulnerable stuff than they do with their romantic partners, which is you know a thing. And that's why it's so difficult for me to comprehend, and it's much more scary to me. Sometimes I have friends that start off just school friends, people you meet at school, people you meet at events and stuff, and the intention or the structure, I suppose, is that you go to school, you work on projects with them, you have a same structure, not in that way, but you have the same environment, you're in the same place, and the beginning is just small talks, very superficial talk. Hey, do you do your homework? And then over the year, or months, or even like weeks, even, I have friends that friendships that got deep pretty fast. Then you end up like sharing a lot of your vulnerabilities, a lot of your traumas, your hardships, your feelings, and in a way that's like less intentional, or less structured, less predictable, less controllable, which is the scary part, obviously. Obviously. Um, and in that way, I feel like friendships are much closer to like that really famous John Green quote, that like falling in love is like falling asleep slowly and then all at once. That's usually how I feel for my friends, because like over the years, over the months, it just goes slowly and step by step, then you reveal one thing at a time and you move one thing at a time, and then at one point you realize, I love my friends so much. Like, I love you, I love you with such intensity and devotion, and I think the world of you. And they are very meaningful relationships to me. They are my emotional support, they are the people who are moving in life at my pace, or maybe, people I look up to, people who I see as inspiration, people who I would go the world for. And that is so scary for me because it's love. It's intense, it's passionate, it's devoted love. I don't need, for now, I suppose, or forever. Maybe for now, maybe for now. We'll we'll think about that a bit more. Like, that's pretty intense, pretty vulnerable for me. Yeah, so like the topic, I suppose, is just how friendships for me is quite scary. I don't know if scary is the right word. Is mm, is really intense in the way that you would describe a romantic relationship as intense, or you know destabilizing, because before you realize it, like, you're ready to give everything to these people. I do love my close friends very, very much. Um, I probably wouldn't be here without them. Yeah, food for thought.